We're live, and we are live. It's the Shooter's Mindset, episode 61. What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining us. We're here with my co-host, Steve the Tank Durant. I still got to set up some stuff here. What's going on, Steve? You're muted.
Exactly. I'm still trying to get the feed going so I can take the live questions off off the YouTube feed. But I think we're good to go.
Yeah, and then we got my special co-host, Kelly Samsels, in the house. What's going on, Kelly?
Not a whole lot.
And then it's back with vengeance. He's been doing a lot of big things. If you were tuned into the channel, and he hosted the Storm Lake Shooter's Mindset show, and that's Schwell11. What's going on, Schwell?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I missed you.
Yeah, you were gone for what, 3 weeks, man? If that's how long it feels.
There you go with that 3-week stuff again.
It's more like 2 weeks. I want to mention the Q&A section. There's a Q&A app in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, guys. If you're new to the show, you can ask live questions to any of us here on the panel. Go ahead and click that Q&A section, and I would get those. Also, if you leave them in the comment section below, I believe Steve is monitoring that side. Or you can shoot over to Shooter's Mindset over on Facebook, and there'll be a little post right at the top there where you can post questions below on Facebook if you prefer to do it that way. We also have the owner of DK Custom Triggers, Daniel Kensler. I had to say that slow. How you doing there, Daniel?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
Doing pretty good. It's good that I didn't mess up that last name. I'm pretty good at doing that on the show.
Okay, it happens.
There it is. So we're going to talk, guys, get those questions in live here. We got a great giveaway that I'm going to mention in a very short period here. Let's get the first question out here. But Daniel, talk to us a little bit about yourself as a shooter and your company and how it all got started.
Well, myself as a shooter, I got started in the infamous IDPA shooting CDP. Never wanted a Glock, never wanted that polymer frame pistol, but hey, I got it. I got started back in 2000. I think it was 2004. Went to the Plastic Fantastic and really haven't looked back. I mean, I went from a single stack 1911 to a Glock to a Para Ordnance to a Tampaglio before they were super duper cool. And then I went to a custom built 2011, and then I came all the way back to Glock. I sold my custom built 2011 and came all the way back to Glock. It just worked for me better.
There you go.
The company itself, I just got tired of getting different parts from different people and trying to put it all together to make something that felt like it was, I don't know, it just seemed like there was something missing from some of the others all the time. Not to knock them, I mean, they're all great systems, you know, and everybody puts a great product out there, but I just think there's enough market out there for us all to have some business. But I try not to, you know, I'm not trying to make a living out of it. It's just a side job, but I think I sell a pretty nice product for a really great price.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the product and the different type of trigger kits you offer, and you know, some of the Glock services also in a little bit later here. But we want to talk about the giveaway here. The giveaway where you're going to get your very own custom whatever version you want. You want the competition stuff. You want some of the basic, maybe some of the duty, maybe some of the carry stuff. He can work all that stuff out with you. We also have a Patriot Shooting Academy that's ran by a Grandmaster Shooter and also DK Custom sponsored shooter, Gilbert Perez. So for you folks that he does travel around and do classes. So I know their home base is over in Tennessee. So if you guys are from Tennessee, you guys are going to get a bonus. That's probably real close to your neighborhood. You're going to get a free training course from them. So also we have their Facebook page, a part of this giveaway, so you want to make sure you like that and check them out, and some of their websites all can be found through their Facebook page, so you can check out the different courses they offer. But DK Custom Trigger Kits, training course from Grandmaster Shooter, from Patriot Shooting Academy, and then we have bonus, some Rand COP, 2-ounce bottle of that. That's randbrands.com. One winner is going to get all the goodies. We have a link to the giveaway down in the YouTube comment section right below this video. Giveaway link on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page. So whichever one you prefer. Giveaway ends at midnight Eastern tonight. So even if the show's over, you can get in there. can get about 7 entries by liking DK Custom Triggers on Facebook. You know, a bunch of people there who support the show. Also, Schwell's Facebook page. Dustin might be jumping in here in a little bit here. He's a little late. But great show ahead of us. Schwell, what do you have, man? Do you have any live questions or anything you want to ask yourself? I know we were talking a little bit in the pre-chat, and you had some really good stuff you wanted to ask.
Yep. I
Fire away.
Don't make me nervous, okay? Don't make me nervous. I had to take weeks off because of the PTSD of that show.
I'm supposed to be more nervous, not you guys.
Yeah.
What?
Waiting.
I just wanted to know. My number one question is: the rest of the guys on the panel are competitive shooters. I lean more towards the defensive shooting side of things, and I just wanted to know what your stance for DK Custom Triggers are for the defensive pistol CCW stuff. Is that what it was designed for, or was it more specific to the competitive shooter?
It is originally designed for competition shooting. The biggest thing is for, you know, a production shooter really didn't have the choice of having a trigger that they could adjust their pre-travel and adjust their over-travel. Most of the trigger kits had a preset amount of pre-travel taken out, but you could adjust your over-travel. And I knew there was a way that you could get it all in there. We are the first trigger kit that has went through the whole trouble of sending the kit in to the that I know of, and from what was explained to me by John Amadon, the first people to send in their trigger kit for him to actually go through it and make sure that it was 100% legal. He gave us the go-ahead and we got started. As far as concealed carry and defensive use, I have no issue with people wanting to do that. I would just prefer them, whenever they order, to let me know that that's what they're going to do with it. I don't recommend carrying a 4 or a 4.5 pound striker spring for a defensive gun, and I really don't recommend removing pre-travel. You want to make sure that if you ever have to use that gun in a defensive situation, that you willingly knew that you were pulling the trigger, so you don't get yourself in some trouble. And we would generally send a little heavier striker spring. You're not going to get that light, 2.5, 3 pound. It might be right at 3 pounds or maybe 3.5. It's definitely going to be smoothed out from what your factory system would be, and it's actually a lot cheaper because I mean, actually, right off the top of my head, I don't even know what my price kit is for an IDPA SSP option for the custom kit. But if you're going to carry it for concealed carry, you really don't need the enhanced striker system that we use. You can use your factory striker because you're going to be using good quality loaded factory ammunition that's designed to go off in any gun. So yeah, I don't have any issue making one for like concealed carry. Like I said, I have the IDPA SSP option available, and that's generally what we would do for that. We just wouldn't remove the pre-travel. You'd still have your over-travel adjustment. You would have a upgraded connector, an upgraded housing, and then you would get an upgraded plunger. Everything been polished, smoothed out, made it together, and then you would have the spring for your striker system.
There you go. And since we're on the topic here, what are some of the different, you go to the website, you offer some different packages as far as trigger kits. What are some of those different packages, and what are the differences between them, really?
Well, the different packages we have, and actually we're going to be updating our pictures pretty soon. Those are all pretty dated from back when I first started with some different connectors and things like that. But right now, we start out with you can have the DK Custom Trigger Bar. We do not offer the trigger bar for SSP versions because generally there's just nothing you can really do for that. We have the trigger bar that's fully adjustable capability that you can add into any of the systems that you already have at home. I know that we decided to sell the trigger bar by itself just for the simple fact that there's a lot of people out there that have already spent a lot of money on connectors and springs and strikers and plungers and stuff like that. And if they're like me, that they're not made of money and they can't just keep spending money out on all this stuff. But you got the DK Custom Trigger Bar that gives you pre-travel and over-travel adjustability that puts you legal in production. You can also use it in limited 10, and open. You can use it in IDPA ESP, and you can also use it in IDPA CDP. As far as IDPA's SSP ruling goes, when I talked to Robert Ray on why my trigger bar wouldn't be legal for stock service pistol, he could not quote me a rule from the rule book. He just simply said that because it starts differently in the trigger guard, it is not SSP legal. He could not, like I said, he couldn't give me an actual stated ruling from the book why it was illegal. He just basically said it's just not legal because doesn't say it's legal.
God damn it!
So basically, that's why we do not offer that trigger bar for IDPA SSP. Then we go from the trigger bar, you go up to the basic kit. The DK Custom basic kit, again, if you don't choose the SSP option, you get the full adjustability in pre-travel, over-travel. It's been modified to make sure that the drop safeties are still working. Trigger bar is highly polished. The connector's been tweaked a little bit. You get you get new springs. You get a 4-pound and a 4.5-pound striker spring. You get a reworked safety plunger that's got a different spring worked in for that. Everything's basically pre-adjusted by me at home on a donor gun, sent to you. Most of the time, I'm surprised if you have to adjust anything at all. The reason why I offer the basic kit is because, again, people are out there. They have spent money on these, these Lightning strikers from Jaeger, Zev. Zev and Jaeger both make a really nice striker, but they're expensive. Why would you want to go out and buy something? If you've already got this $80 striker in your gun, if you can buy a kit for $110 and you can still use the striker you spent money on, why not? I actually have a Zev striker here that I can match the trigger kit up to. If you put in the notes when you order the kit that's what you're going to be running, and it just helps with ensuring the kit will work once you get it. And then from the basic kit, we go up to our DK Custom. Exact same thing you get with the basic kit. It just adds in the striker that I modify, lighten, and adjust so it will protrude further into the breech face. We do a little modification to the striker alignment sleeve to make sure that the modifications that I'm making are still allowing the striker to protrude into the breech face far enough to do what it's doing. And then you get the same safety plunger and everything. We also offer the IDPA SSP kit. It's cheaper. The only thing it is you don't get pre-travel adjustment. You get the over-travel adjustment, but I had to move the over-travel adjustment to the trigger housing because the over-travel adjustment screw, if you put it on the trigger pad, is visible because they don't let you take out any pre-travel. You can't set the trigger pad further back in and hide that. Again, you're going to get, if you get the one with the striker, you get the exact same kind of striker that I do for the one that's USPSA production legal. If you get the one without the striker, then you can run it with whatever striker you have. The biggest thing about a Glock, everybody wants a single action trigger in a Glock. Man, it's not going to happen. Gaston Glock, they designed this, or not Gaston Glock, but Glock designed this. They designed this gun. It's a striker fired gun. That's the way it works. It's just the way it works. You have to have that travel of the striker for it to work properly. That's how the safeties work on it. You just can't take all that out of it. I think we've got quite a bit of pre-travel taken out of it. You come up out of the holster, you get just enough time to prep the trigger as you're pushing out to your target, and then you're ready to roll. By the time the gun cycles, you're shooting right, and by the time the gun cycles, you're right back on the wall and ready to go again. I know Gilbert's getting 11 splits out of his gun. That's pretty good for the Glock.
There you go.
Yeah, you were mentioning about the SSP thing. I think it has something to do with the fact that if the appearance of the gun, not including the grips or slip-on grip style and the sights, those two things can change, but the appearance of the gun, apparently in the SSP category of IDPA, it can't change. So if that trigger isn't sitting at the same spot, you've eliminated that pre-travel. Now it's sitting back a little bit. That's where your issue comes in, which is kind of a stupid rule, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Flat-footed reload.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear that's going away. That's still up for debate though, but I'm pretty darn sure it's going away. But just to hit on this IDPA SSP stuff, they don't. How are they going to check that? Because I've been to tons of SSP matches at a national level, a state level, local level, and when you go through your gear check, I don't. They don't check for it. They put it in the box, make sure it fits in the box. They weigh it, make sure it makes weight. They check if all your safeties are working on the gun.
Really nice, Kelly.
Yeah, very nice.
IDPA.
We hate you too, Kelly. We hate you too.
I always thought of it. I always think of something as I call me a gamer, but I always rocked an ESP trigger and an SSP gun.
If it's not shooting back at you, it's a game. If it's a time and a score, it's a game. These people get so butthurt over the "don't be calling my sport a game." It's a game.
Yeah. I mean, because, you know, they don't check the internals. They don't open your gun up and they don't look in there. Oh, that's a polished trigger. No. You know, they don't do that. So.
Well, I guess it's just the whole integrity. I mean, if you're gonna, it's the integrity of the shooter. I mean, if you're gonna go to this match and you want to shoot SSP, you know, you need to follow the SSP rule. I mean, but like Steve said, that was the only reason he gave me that my trigger is not SSP legal. Is because the trigger pad is positioned further back in the trigger guard from factory. Other than that, I mean, everything's hidden, so. I don't know.
That's it. We can go further, but I think we'll save it for.
But we also offer all the exact same things that I just mentioned. We offer the large frame for the G41. Has a really nice trigger on the G41. I've got one right here. Yeah, I've got one right here. G41. It's clear. Anybody can see that. So I mean, you know, here's the trigger as it sits.
Raise it up a little higher. There we go.
Touch it. That's all you got, and there it goes.
Oh my god.
And I think this one breaks right at 2.5 pounds. I mean, that's pretty good for a Glock trigger.
Yeah, it's very good for a Glock trigger, considering what are you getting out the box? Usually like a rough 5.5.
Yeah.
It depends on which model you've gotten.
Yeah.
My G22 that's factory that I got back here in the Gen 4, it's got off. It's a good 6.5, almost 7 pounds.
There you go.
But that G41, you know, it came with the reduced connector, and it still wasn't all that great.
Yeah, Steve is still shooting SSP. I told Steve, when you go ESP, it's kind of like SSP becomes kind of boring. I should have just hit master in SSP and then moved on to ESP, because now I just don't want to go back to SSP. I just go CDP, and you know, I shoot IDPA. I don't, you know, I do. Some of the rules to me are just, you know, a little bit silly, but it you know, a lot of people do a lot of complaining about it. It really, the flat footed reload, that was a big deal, but it was an easy transition. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You know, you just don't.
It is, but I mean, for the simple fact that if somebody's after me to kill my ass, if somebody's after me to kill me, I'm not going to stand still.
Yeah, I hear you. So there you go. There's some little IDPA love hate for today. But there's your SSP ruling. I didn't know. I didn't even read the rule book. I just go from what I hear from other shooters. Kelly,
there's a lot that you can do with even the Zev trigger bar. I mean, all you got to do really on that is to rework the back side of the safety tab, and you can get a lot more pre-travel and stuff taken out of that too.
There you go. Kelly, what do you have as far as, you know, the whole IDPA talk? I know you were raising up a sign. Your thoughts? I mean, you just jumped right into 3-gun, right?
There's just so many rules, and like, don't do it, and then we don't have that in 3-gun. You just, you know, shoot. Nobody checks our stuff. It's like honesty policy. When you start shooting like for open, like when you load your shotgun, if you're not shooting open, you don't load your tube all the way. They, you know, expect you to be honest and load the proper amount of shells, and they don't check your guns and trigger weight and all this stuff.
With you shooting a lot of 3-gun, Kelly, how many striker-fired weapons do you see as opposed to the 2011s?
You know, I would say it's pretty even, honestly. Most of the new shooters, you know, they don't have, you know, 1911s and stuff, so you see a lot of, you know, MPs and Glocks, and I mean, 34 is huge. That's what I use. There's a lot of people that at least start out with that, and until you go into like an open class and stuff like that, most people.
What about a 17L now? I think a 17L would make a great 3-gun pistol.
They're kind of rare.
Yeah, but that's not 9.
Yeah,
17L? Yeah, it is.
It's just like their extremely long Glock.
17L.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I don't know that I've ever.
This is the softest flattened shooting this 9mm. I actually
Right.
cut in the Bomar. This is a Savigny adjustable Bomar. Then I kind of
Oh yeah, it looks good.
on the sides here. And then it's got the 285 front fiber optic that I shaved down all the way to the top of the fiber optic. And this one's got a really nice trigger.
See, the only reason I ever even changed out the trigger on my Glock is because I won one off a price table. So what I have in it now is honestly what I had in it like from the second year I ever shot it. And it's one of those, like the Edge or something like that. I don't even know. I should probably have one of yours in it because
Yeah,
it's still pretty heavy. It's still pretty heavy. It's not by any means 2
now one thing.
3 pounds.
Now,
It's,
I mean, you can't go into business selling stuff without checking your competitor's stuff. And the one thing that I have noticed a lot about the Glock trigger stuff is honestly, it's just a really high polished trigger bar. That's about all it is.
yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I've had it in there for so long. I obviously noticed it being different from the stock one that was in it. But then, you know, I've shot other people's, and it feels completely heavy, and it's just pretty awful, honestly.
One of the big
And
things that I can't
pistol is-
get my head around on trigger parts is the fact that Glock's 3.5 pound connector, if you can find somebody that sells it, the actual Glock OEM 3.5 pound connector is like $25. But if you buy the Lone Wolf connector, which is the one that I use, after I've tested Lone Wolf, I've tested Ghost. Ghost connectors were the most god awful thing. And now that's one out of my little dog. There wasn't one of them that I bought 250 of them, and there wasn't one of them that I did not have to do massive deburring, shaping just to even get the slide to be able to run back across the tab.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't understand why a Glock 3.5 pound factory connector is so expensive. You can't even order them from most places. I mean, there at one time Glock limited to those to armorers only. I don't know what the big deal is. It's just.
I think that rule still might apply. I think those are only going out to if you order them directly from Glock, unless you can find someone aftermarket who's carrying them. But Glock, I think, only sends them out to armors.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with liability too. If you send a Glock or a Springfield back to the factory and say have night sights installed, so on and so forth, and you have anything that is an OEM, they remove it and send it back to you with OEM parts and your parts in a little bag. So I think it's more of a liability thing than anything else. They're worried about people doing something stupid.
Yeah. But even with the 3.5 pound connector, it doesn't do that much to the trigger.
True.
That's what came in the 30 in my 41 and the 34s and 35s. It's still about a 5 pound trigger.
Right.
Yeah, that's very true. Let's go into the giveaway here for those who are just joining us. Just want to remind you guys of the Q&A section. Bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there is a Q&A section. You can ask any questions here to Daniel. Anything Glock or trigger related or modifications related, let's get them over to Daniel. Also, if you want to access anything, I know there actually was a question, now that it reminds me, I think he sent me a Facebook PM, and it was just for all of us on the panel on how good we were shooting. But let me jot that down here. We'll ask that a little bit later. But the giveaway today is your very own DK custom trigger set. Whether you want for competition, you want a basic kit. He's got a lot of stuff, like he's mentioned, that we just talked about here. Also, we have a bottle of Rand CLP, 2-ounce bottle of that. They got a lot of new things coming. They just released a new product here. It's called the Bore and Bolt Cleaner. So that's randsbrands.com. There's also a 15% off code. You can find that code on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page. So if you're looking to get any Rand products, you can get 15% off going on now. Also, we got a training course from Grandmaster Shooter Gilbert Perez, also a sponsor shooter from DK Custom Triggers. Patriot Shooting Academy. They're giving out training. We're going to have one winner. You can find links to the giveaway down in the YouTube comment section right below this video or on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page. Giveaway ends midnight tonight. One winner. I'll select it on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you stop in there and check and make sure you won. And that'll do it.
I always giggle when you say that because it's probably not going to be tomorrow afternoon. It'll probably be tomorrow night or.
Yeah. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned there. It'll be up tomorrow for sure.
Kelly is a hater.
Yes, sir.
And if not, I'll
No,
email.
I'm just.
I'll
Kelly,
email you.
She's pretty brutally honest, man.
Yeah.
You gotta admire that in some people.
Well, come on. Let's just see. Let's just see what time he picks that winner and puts it up tomorrow.
All right, now I really got to do it. And
Now he's gonna write himself a note, and it's not gonna
Yeah.
be fair because Schwell's probably gonna text him and remind him, and I'm gonna look like the mean girl.
yeah, you are.
Yep.
That's definitely going up. Now, for sure, tomorrow afternoon, I get out of work at 5. Winner would be up at about 6. All right? There you go.
He could do it at midnight, you know, and
Yeah. All right, let's move on here. We've got segue. We always, get tons of questions regarding how do I get sponsors. So every time we have an owner of a company on, we like to toss this question out there. What do you look for in a sponsored shooter, and what do you think is the best approach for you, for someone to approach you about a sponsorship?
Sponsorship's a big thing for a lot of companies, but you also realize that some of these people, including myself, are very small companies that can only offer so much. Whenever we donate to prize tables for matches, generally we're donating 50% off, not a whole complete kit, just because we're such a infant status company. We're brand spanking new. I do all this by myself. My wife helps me with getting packages and stuff set up, but generally I try to keep everything within 3 days of it being shipped from the day you order it. I do have 2 other jobs that I'm doing, and as soon as I get home, I'm working on this stuff. But as far as the sponsored goes, there are some future plans that we're going to try to do. Maybe offering up some if you're putting the logo on a shirt, or we might even follow in Chandler's footsteps and design us up a jersey. And if you buy the jersey, you let me know, and then we hook you up with some kind of discount sponsorship thing where you're advertising for us and you're getting some money off on things like that. I mean, you really got to think about it. Even if I do 10%, our most expensive kit is $180 that's the large frame. Okay, so that's 10%. That's $18. Now you're back down to what a standard one does, and if you're looking at a standard small frame kit for $165, you're taking $16.50 off that. I mean, and I don't think you're going to beat you're not going to beat the system you're getting for that kind of money. I mean, I think we have a really nice trigger kit. I think we have a really nice break. I think we have a really nice feel with the money that you're spending to get it. Because, like I said, I'm a real world person. We live paycheck to paycheck ourselves. Both of us have multiple jobs. Money's tight for everybody. I mean, we want to be able to offer something that everybody can say, hey, I want to put a trigger in my gun, and I don't want to have to go out here and work 3 extra shifts or something just to be able to afford a trigger. You want to get a basic kit if you've already got a striker, there you go. You can buy our basic kit and work it in with your striker. If you've got a Zev or Jaeger striker, just shoot me an email whenever you purchase the basic kit and say, hey, this is what I'm running, and I'll make it work with that. I've got stuff here that I can make that work with that.
Yeah, what's your email, just so people can get contact with you if they have any questions?
Contact form on the website of www.glockcustomtriggers.com. We have a contacts page, and then if you do order something, there is a place where you can put a note in it, and whenever I receive the order and the invoice, it shows up. You can special notice that you put in.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, we're definitely looking. What we look for in a sponsored shooter, we just want somebody who's going to talk with people. You get these people who they see these NASCAR-looking jerseys. They want to come up and talk to these people and say, hey, what are you running? Why did you choose to run that? I just want people who are approachable. It doesn't matter if you're a grandmaster or if you're a D class, or even unclassified and getting started. As long as you're approachable and you're educated on the product you're trying to tell them about. I mean, what else could anybody want from a sponsored shooter?
There you go. I had a question come in on YouTube, but I'm going to let Schwell, because he had one come in on Facebook, I believe. I want Schwell to ask his first, because I think it relates to this particular subject matter.
As someone who provides sponsorships for both events and shooters, what do you expect from your shooters that you actually do sponsor? I mean, I know it's unrealistic to think that they're going to go out there and win every match that they perform in, but what is it that the folks like you expect?
I expect sportsmanship. If you go out here and you DQ, you DQ. Accept it. Shake their hands. Keep your head held high. Stay around and help your squad pace if they'll let you stay at the range. You know, I don't know. Some people say, hey, you're DQ'd, you need to leave. But just sportsmanship. Sportsmanship. That is the key. Nobody wants to talk to anybody who is rude or throwing stuff or arguing with the ROs. I mean, you know, the ROs are out there doing that for most of the time. Most of these matches, they're volunteer. They're giving up their ability to shoot that match well, because generally, as you're shooting that match as an RO, you have to shoot the match and RO it yourself, just like you're at a local. And then we get to find out, you know, we do, me and my wife, we do RO. We RO matches. And then your whole job is to find out if there's any bugs, kinks, or anything like that in the match. You don't get to reshoot it just because, you know, there was a hole somewhere here or there, unless there's a range malfunction. So then we go work we go work the match the next day, and the people that we know are like, well, how did you shoot this? Of course, if we give them the pointers, then they're going to shoot it better than we did. I mean, you know, like I said, it's sportsmanship. I mean, sportsmanship is everything. If somebody can walk up to you that doesn't know you and see that you are an approachable person, and you can talk to them, and they're going to, you know, they're not going to say, yeah, you need to buy this because it's the greatest thing. They're just going to talk to you and explain to you why they chose it, why they think it's good. They're going to give you a review on it. They're not just going to sell you on it. They're going to say, I've got a, you know, I chose this because it's got this kind of brake, or, you know, it's taking up pre-travel for me, or it's been reliable. Now, that's one thing you want to talk about on a striker-fired gun on reliability, and in a Glock, it starts at your reloading bench if you reload. On our guns, we recommend CCI and above, CCI, Winchester, and Federal. We start with Federal for number 1, Winchester second, CCI is third. I run off CCI. I think I might have had 2 light primer strikes, and those are either high primer or seated backwards. But it really starts at your press. And I have a 550 that I reload on, and I bounce myself off the handle seated primers in. I want those. You got to get those primers in there and stick it as hard and deep as you can get them. I mean, my wife shoots an XD, she shoots an XD. Her gun will set off Tula primers all day long, and her trigger pull is about 2 pounds. But
I'm going to agree with that.
It's a whole different gun. You know, that's an actual single action polymer gun. That striker is locked all the way back. The only thing you're doing is releasing it off the sear. And like I said earlier, you know, the Glock works off of a striker fired safe action. It's its own thing.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I mean, it has to finish the cocking of that striker for it to work. So.
I had somebody tell me that my primers were seated too deep because they were just a little bit farther than flush, and I never have issues, ever.
You can get a primer too deep. You can get a primer too high, but you cannot get a primer too deep.
There you go. Hey,
it makes it go off.
That was awesome information on the shooter's conduct while out there. That's something that most people haven't touched on, but it's something I think is really important for a sponsored shooter to consider. How they conduct themselves out at a match has a really big effect on the sponsors that they are representing, so that was huge. I did have a question. I had a question come in from Nick, and this is a question that we were going to kind of get to anyway, but since he is a viewer and he's asking it, I want to go ahead and touch on it because it's a pretty cool question. Daniel, how many times have unexpected trigger malfunctions, runaways, etc., occurred from the gear that you produced while you were trying to get where you're at in the industry today? So the ups and downs of growing this business and learning how to get these triggers just right. Tell us about some of the issues, any particular stories maybe you might have, funny stories that have to do with that.
Well, I've got learning how to do that. I've got a pile of trigger bars that if you get the drilling the holes in those trigger bars off just too much, they're done. You've got to start all over. I'm not going to send something that looks like crap to somebody. I've actually had some issues, and I don't know if it's where I'm modifying the bird's head that it might make the bar too hot, that kind of makes the pin heat up and start coming loose. But I've had a trigger bar that the pin that holds the trigger pad to the bar itself started working itself loose. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've not had issues and people have not had to send things back to me. I'm a realist. Anybody who does this is going to have issues, and anybody who says they have had 100% success is a liar. I had Zev products I've had to send back to them whenever I ran their stuff. I've had people send stuff back to me. Matter of fact, Bill Monier's kit that I sent him, he was having trouble getting the initial trigger bar safety tab to catch consistently. You know what? He told me about it. I got him a new trigger bar sent out. Customer service is a big thing. If you've got a problem with it, let me know. I just don't, nobody appreciates anybody talking behind their back about their stuff. But I'm a big stickler on that. If you've got an issue, let me know. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it right. I've got a guy right now who's having some issues with his G41. It worked for 300 rounds, flat out, perfect. Now he's having some issues with it. He's even let some Glock armorers and people and gunsmiths that he knows up north look at it, and they can't get it to work. And I told him that as soon as my FFL comes through, I will pay for it to be shipped here. I will pay for it to be shipped back, and that gun will work, or I'll buy him another one. It's going to work. There
you go. Just to hit on that, obviously before I was even, sponsored by DK Custom Triggers, I, obviously bought one and put it in my Glock 17, and somewhere in between that process, I forgot to put a key part back, and I sent him a text message, and I'm like, dude, something's going on here. The slide and it wasn't coming back or something. It was just kind of locking up. And he's like, do you have an iPhone? I'm like, yeah, I have one. He's like, well, let's FaceTime, show me what's going on. And it was just a user error. I just forgot to put.
Go ahead and tell me.
You know what it was called? You know what the part was called?
The locking block.
The locking block. I forgot to put it back in. He's like, well, he couldn't figure it out right away. He's like, take it all back out. Let me look. Put the gun back in there and the camera and the iPhone. And he's like, dude, you're missing the locking block. And then the locking block must have bounced on the table, so it wasn't in plain sight. And then I finally found it, put it in, and it worked fine. But just to attest to some of the customer service that he's offering, I mean, the dude popped up on FaceTime real quick and kind of walked me through the whole installation process of getting it all right and getting the gun functioning. So when he's talking about his customer service, I can attest to that, because before I was even sponsored, I used this product, and I had trouble just being kind of slow, I guess, not knowing how to
My wife stopped mid fork to mouth when she found out that it was the locking block missing. She said,
"Yeah, really?" Really? That was it. And now we're running in the G17, and he's got a lot of new stuff coming up here. We got you got a junior shooter program. I know since we're kind of on this customer service topic, there's more that you do for the customer. And tell us about your junior shooter discount package.
Our junior shooter discount, man. I'm a firm believer that juniors are these kids are going to grow up and they're going to be us, and then there's going to be kids below them that will grow up and they're going to be them. And that's the only way we're going to keep these sports going. You're going to keep 3-gun, USPSA, IDPA, Steel Challenge, Bianchi, all this stuff. These kids have got to be involved, but there also needs to be something there for them to keep them involved. They want to see, that these companies are supporting them being out there and doing this stuff. So yeah, we do a juniors program. You get 15% off. The only thing that I ask is that you send me their information of them actually being a member of whatever that they're shooting in. I mean, yeah, you can be a junior shooter, but it's more important to me that they actually be a member of USPSA or IDPA or Steel Challenge, because that's helping that entity grow as well. We've got these junior camps and things. Man, I would love to be so involved in some junior camps. If I had the money, I'd be sending out Glocks. I'd purchase Glocks and put my triggers in them and send them out there for them to shoot if I could do it. If I could win the lottery, I'd be all over that. I just don't have that kind of stuff. Like I said, we do 50% off gift certificates, but that's us giving back somewhere or another. I don't make nothing off of that. It just pays for the part.
There you go.
People want to win something. People want something that that they can say, hey, But yeah, I'm a firm believer in juniors. I'm praying every night that my little girl's going to get into this. She's 5 right now, and I've got an 8-year-old. They both like going to the range. Actually, my 5-year-old fell asleep the last time that I went and didn't get to wake up in time to see me shoot. So she was very upset with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kelly, you want to jump in here? Because obviously you shoot a Glock and 3-gun, and we were talking a little bit on that topic, the 2011 new custom and Glock ratio, and we've talked to a lot of pro top-level 3-gunners here, and I always ask that question because me and Steve kind of always go back and forth. I'm always debating getting the 2011 all high-fly and tricked out, but then I plan on shooting a lot more 3-gun next year. And I've talked to people, and Team Noveski, those are all top-level guys. They're all running Glocks. There's guys out there running XDMs, MMPs. So I don't really see a dominant need to drop $3-4 grand on a pistol. When I can just shoot what I'm already using in IDPA. Kelly, you obviously run a Glock and 3-gun. Do you have any trigger work done to your Glock, or do you feel that it's extremely necessary to do so?
No, well, after having changed one period, I do think it is necessary if you're going to do anything, with speed or anything at all. And then, like I said, the one that I have in there now, I have it just merely because I want it on the price table at Rockcastle, and it was lighter than the one that was in it. But I haven't really done anything to my Glock, and maybe that's why it's like my weakest out of my 3 guns. It's everything else I've had it worked on, and basically now it's, I'm gonna say, perfect how I would want it. And I just haven't had anything done with my pistol. But like you said, I don't really think there's a clear winner between Glocks or 2011s or 1911s or anything in 3-gun. I think it's more just personal preference, because like you said, the Noveski guys, James Casanova, all of them, they do great with it. And then you have the other people that run 2011s, and they're equally as good. So I think it's just personal preference, and some of the other people that use the 2011s and stuff like that, they use it for other, not IDPA, but they use it for USPSA and stuff like that. So
you can use a 2011 in IDPA, just ESP.
There you go.
But
see, I'm not down with all the rules, but I can see some of these people that I see their 1911s and stuff, they clearly not be right for IDPA. But I think it's just mere preference, because some people just swear up and down that they don't like the feel of the Glock, and
I think a lot of that's grip angle.
Right.
That's the biggest thing that I've always heard on Glock is the grip angle. Some people, the grip angle works perfect for them, so it's just perfect for them. Tiffany, my wife Tiffany, she doesn't like them. She likes the XD. She even had a single or a double stack 1911. She had a P16. She didn't like that either. She had an M&P.
Right.
She didn't like that either.
And we haven't talked about your other mods, have we, that you do to Glock? Have we talked about stipling and other stuff that you do?
No, we haven't talked about that. We can hit that now since we're on the topic. Just
Yeah.
any other Glock custom modification work than you do than just triggers.
Well, right now, like I said, we're in the process of getting our FFL for people to be able to send in their frames and guns for us to do things for them. But for local people, we do offer stippling jobs, but it is not just limited to Glocks. Eventually, DK Custom Triggers is going to branch out into some newer ventures. Eventually, we may be looking into building some custom 1911s. We're doing some AR-15 assemblies and things like that. One of our sponsored shooters, Jason Pratt, has a 2011 Edge. I reduced the grip and stippled that for him. We have some different textures that we do. I actually got a little pattern here, but I've got it screwed to my table. This for my on my 35 with the it's all SJC'd out. This thing right here will basically eat your hand alive, but this gun will not move in your hand. Okay. Actually,
yeah, see, that's what somebody was grilling me about it the other day. They were telling me that I needed to send my 34 to Terran and have stippling done and all this stuff. And I guess anyone that I've ever seen like pictures of on Facebook and stuff, you can tell it's just this homegrown Dremel, and it just looks like craters in the moon, like it's gonna tear up your hands. So like, sell me on the whole stippling thing.
Here's the thing about stippling, okay? You get a lot of people, and Casey Asuvio runs Zev's silicone carbide. The good thing about silicone carbide is it can be redone and redone and redone as it wears off. The thing about stippling, when you first get it, it is rough as a cob, and you get used to it. But what happens with it is it doesn't wear off; it wears in. It gets to the parts that your grip grabs into, and it starts wearing in. But it doesn't wear off so much that it doesn't do what it's supposed to. We do double undercuts. We do the stippling wherever you want it to be done at. That's our most aggressive. Actually, this one's been double stippled. This was stippled with the small dots first. Then I went back over top of it with my more aggressive thing, and I removed the finger grooves off of it. This gun, I shot this at Georgia State. Holy crap. With this frame weight, that thumb rest, and this big heavy magwell that SJC does, the only thing that I had to do to this SJC magwell was to modify it to work with Terran's base plates. I love Terran's base plates. He's one of my sponsors. But this trigger is amazing on this gun. This is the wall right in there. It's done. I mean, it's awesome. I love that gun. Actually, that was the first match I shot it in. Then we have something that you would do for carry. The little baby G42. This one is very, very lightly textured and stippled. If anybody has a G42, I think Anthony has one. When you first get it, you know, these things are slick. I mean, there's just really nothing that you can really grab hold of. This one is textured. It gives a good purchase, but it's not so bad that you can't even let it rub against your naked skin under your shirt. Actually, undercut this one here and here to actually let your hand get up on it a little bit further. And I've done some trigger work on it too, but it's more of what a defensive gun would be. But right here's the wall. It still breaks at about 4.5 pounds. This has actually been the most accurate gun I've ever shot from a Glock straight out of the package. It will put 3 bullets in almost the same hole at its respective distances for what a .380 carry gun is going to be used for, which is anywhere from 7 yards and in. I've got a different pattern that I've got on the open gun here. It works pretty well. It's actually missing the magwell right now. It's not near as aggressive as the one that I showed on my 35, but it works like it's supposed to. This one's not been undercut just because you don't really need it for this gun. Everything else is being held in with the thumb rest and everything there. I haven't done anything to my 41. As far as the rest of my guns, they all have the more aggressive stippling. The 24 that I have is still got the Zev Dragonfly slide on it. This is the gun that I won Alabama Limited 10 with. It's empty. This one's got a really nice trigger on it too. This is right there is the wall. And then again we have the 17L, which is what I'm going to be using at the match that's coming up in Georgia for the next Pro-Am. I buried in the Savigny Bomar sight. It's been fitted in, then I kind of squared off the edges, kind of like a tri-top that you would do, the best tri-top you can do for a Glock. Chased the factory Lone Wolf serrations with a ball mill. It's got a very nice trigger on it too. But I mean, it's got the aggressive stippling on it. The aggressive stippling I think works the best for this, unless you're just going to be concealed carrying. Just for the simple fact that when you're out there getting hot and sweaty, the gun bites into your hand and it doesn't move. I mean, if you're going to shoot for competition, you want the most aggressive stippling you can get. And like I said, it doesn't wear off; it wears in. The silicone carbide does wear off. I mean, if you see somebody who shoots it enough, it's just like having grip tape on there. It's going to eventually start. You're just going to rub that stuff right out of the epoxy. So it's sandpaper, you know. It works itself loose. But yeah, we do the grip work. We can undercut, double undercut, stipple. Actually, Jason Pratt sent me his Glock 24 slide. I'm getting ready to do the Bomar cut for it too. We're going to be doing the slide work. I'm actually looking into Cerakote and learning how to do that. So I mean, eventually we're going to offer quite a bit of different things that you can send your gun in. If that, you know, like I said, the FFL's pending. That's one of the longest processes I've ever dealt with so far. But yeah, I mean, once we get that going, I mean, hopefully we're going to be able to start doing a lot more stuff.
There you go. Schwell, you had a couple questions about some future plans, and that kind of leads into one of my questions here I had there. Any future plans or projects or matches that you're going to, or any, you know, or do you plan on doing M&Ps? Do you plan on doing, I think you said you did some trigger work on Pratt's 2011, but are those going to be services you're going to offer on your website?
Yes, you know, like I said, right now for this year we're just focusing on what we've got started in, which is the Glock work and the Glock trigger kits. We're going to see how everything plays out for us, and see how everything goes for us. I mean, if we get a big enough going, my biggest thing ever since I've been into competition shooting is I want to learn how to build 1911s. You know, I love Glocks, but you can't beat the inherent accuracy or just the total for lack of a better term, badass looking of a 1911 gun or 2011. They just look good. You can't beat the inherent accuracy of them. Now, as far as what we're doing, USPSA, IDPA, 3-gun, I mean, Glock has perfect, reasonable accuracy that does just what it needs to do. I mean, if we're out here bullseye shooting, yeah, you might like a 1911. But people bullseye shoot with Glock. People shoot Bianchi with Glocks. I mean,
yep.
But yeah, we're looking into wanting to build 1911s, trigger jobs on 1911s. I know the CZ and the Tampaglios are getting really big. The only thing about those is that's definitely going to require having an FFL because those are not drop-in trigger kits. I mean, you have to fit those just like a 1911.
There you
Sorry,
go.
Steve.
Someone, yeah, the PM
Why-
question. Steve reminded there was a dang, I forgot the guy's name, but he wanted to ask us as the panel, how are we doing at as us shooting? How are we growing in the sport of 3-gun, IDPA for me? Steve does a little IDPA. Schwell's in and out of about all things shooting. But Kelly, are you seeing a lot of improvements on your 3-gun? I know there's not really. I always lose track of the classification system in 3-gun. I don't know. I just think it's divisions more than anything. But how are you doing? Do you see a big improvement? That's what he wants to know. How are we growing in our sport and what we're playing?
Yeah, there's not really a classification system like you see in USPSA and stuff like that. If you're a part of 3-Gun Nation, you can sign up for their regional series, and they have a ladies series and stuff like that. And I didn't do any of that this year. Honestly, I'll just be straight up honest. Right at this point, I need to stock up on ammo to practice, period, because people can swear up and down that dry fire is amazing, and I guess I just don't work like that. I need that range time. I need, that felt recoil to practice and stuff, and if you can't practice, then, you're going to
Dry
shoot
fire
like crap.
is there to get your things that should be second nature built in. Your mag changes, your sight alignment and target transitions,
Right.
trigger resets, things like that. Yeah, you still got to have that live fire though.
Yeah, I need to see those plates go down. I need to see those holes in the paper, and so I just gotta get my ammo stash built back up from the matches from the year so I can go and practice. And instead of doing like I usually do, is I know a match comes up, and then 2 weeks before the match I practice, and you really don't grow that much in that short of a practice time. So. Hey, winter's coming, and I'm going to be stuck inside a lot here in Missouri, so that dry fire may come in handy.
There you go. Any ammunition companies watching? Kelly just gave you a hint.
Kelly
Needs
needs
ammo.
Sure.
I've got room on my jersey. I'll
There you
move
go.
things over.
I think anybody that is a competitive shooter needs an ammo sponsor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Steve, how are you doing? I know Steve recently kind of got back into shooting full time, kind of shooting every weekend. But I know compared to what we were doing when we first started this show, I think you definitely have improved as a shooter, no doubt.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, I took some time out for a while, getting some personal stuff taken care of. Last year hasn't been real productive, but I am definitely glad to be back in the saddle again. So, trying to shoot IDPA as much as I can. I want to touch on something real quick. The sign that Kelly held up. While I find it funny and I totally understand, and this is not to bag on Kelly or anything like that, but you got to realize. Well, you got to realize that there's, you look at USPSA and you look at 3-gun and you look at IDPA and you see a lot more rules and whatnot with IDPA, and that makes sense. Some people that aren't accustomed to that aren't going to really enjoy that. It's not really for them. But everybody gets something different out of each of the sports. I think with something like USPSA, you really end up kind of having to work out the stage plan really seriously in your head prior to going, and then you don't have much to think about after that. As long as you follow the plan, you're pretty good. Whereas with IDPA, you're working out the stage plan, but it's different. There's usually only 1 or 2 ways to shoot a stage, but then you have rules to be concerned with along the way. So it kind of balances out. It's not like, I don't think one's better than the other. They're just different is what it boils down to, basically. So It's really
Yeah.
Well,
hard.
I think just for IDPA, the whole like rule thing and the defensive and everything thinks to me, if I'm in that defensive situation, I'm not going to be worried about am I reloading flat-footed and all
Right.
this mess. You know what I mean? I understand that staying behind cover and stuff, that's all good and well. But just the thick rule book and stuff, that crap is not going through my head if somebody's trying to shoot me.
But
You
see,
know?
that's what clearly IDPA is a game like the other sports are. That's the problem. Is I think they designed it and their intentions were good to keep it more realistic, but it's never going to work, especially if you have national championships. If anytime score is being kept, people want to win. That's just how it is, you know. Especially people that are competitors. So, anyway, point being, I just think it's you know, apples and oranges. I don't think one's really better than the other. I just think it's what's going to work for your style, you know.
She's spoiled. She started with like 3-gun. You don't usually go from that game to IDPA.
Dude, if
Once you shoot
somebody's
something
shooting
like
at
that,
us,
it's
we are
over.
running and shooting at them.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, dude. If I could shoot 3-gun, if I could afford to shoot 3-gun, I'd be all over that. If I could shoot USPSA, which unfortunately my schedule doesn't allow, I'd be all over that. But for now, with my schedule and my income level, IDPA is going to be where it's at. So.
Yeah, agreed. You also just kind of switched up on us. You were shooting a Glock 17 for a long time, and
Yep.
you picked up a CZ75 Shadow, correct?
Yeah, I got a Shadow here. This will be the new IDPA gun for a bit, and if I can ever get my schedule worked out, definitely would love to shoot some USPSA production divisions. So.
There you go. Me, I started off the show quickly. Started off the show at probably like a marksman IDPA level, which is kind of, I don't know, D class or even worse in USPSA, if some people would say. And now I'm 2-time expert in ESP, which is Enhanced Service Pistol, and stock SSP, stock service pistol. So definitely some improvement on my side. If you tune into the channel and subscribe, you can kind of see that growth. I usually post about an IDPA video or some type of match video once a week. So you can definitely see the improvements there, or me just bombing the stage. Last video I put up, I was pretty disappointed in myself because I lost this match mentally. Even though the performance was still solid, it looked solid. But I just knew that I wasn't going to be high overall, and it just kind of blew my mind, and that was it. So there you go. Kind of a little ranting going on there, a little bit long-winded on that stuff, but we wanted to answer that question from the viewer. Schwell, like I said, he was gone for like 6 weeks, and last show that he did was with Chad Henry of Stormlink Barrels, a friend of Daniel himself. They're up in Tennessee as well. They produce a great match grade barrel. Schwell hosted that show. I know about Schwell too. Where he had a job. Obviously, he was in the Air Force and had a job. You know, he can hit on what he did in the Air Force. And so it was really, you know, a lot of things to pay attention to what he did, and there's an awful lot of things to pay attention on this show. I think more than he expected, and he kind of jumped in there. So just talk about your experience fully hosting the Shooter's Mindset show by yourself there, Schwell.
When you're doing the show and there's a panel of 3 or 4 of us, you know, you and then 2 or 3 co-hosts, it gives you a sense of ease because you got one YouTube, one person watching Facebook, you're watching the Q&A. And Kelly's being cute, you know, so there's no real pressure there, or at least it doesn't seem like it. Now, when I'm hosting this show, I think it was just me, Kelly, and Chad.
It was. That's what it was.
And I was having connection issues and was in and out all the time.
Right, so
we actually had to look at the little Lego girl with guns and then just listen to her talk.
Yeah.
You know, and to touch on what Anthony said about what I did in the Air Force, I was an air traffic controller, and you do a lot of different things at the same time, talking to planes, talking to coworkers, doing a lot of stuff, talking to people on the ground. That is far less stressful than running the Shooter's Mindset show when you're trying to look at all of the different pages and different chat streams at the same time. I think I totally dropped the ball on the Q&A side, so if anyone asked any questions in the Q&A, I didn't even see them. And then I was trying to do the feed on YouTube as well as checking the Facebook page, and I just got overwhelmed. And what that turned into was me becoming nervous and then forgetting all the questions I had lined up, and it was just an improv show, and I know everybody could see it. You could see that I was nervous. You could see that it looked like I was unprepared, but I wasn't unprepared. It
Too
just
much stuff
snowballed.
going on, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I was at dinner. You know, it was my fiance's birthday that day, and I was at dinner, and I'm looking at the Facebook messages here, and I can see Schwell was kind of scrambling, and then I send Steve a text. I'm like, go in there and save Schwell because Kelly's having connection issues.
I kind of felt like that's what that was. He just popped in
Yeah,
there.
he just popped in there.
I'm sick, but I just wanted to hop in here at the last minute.
Yeah,
He's there to
Yeah.
save the day.
I felt like I was in hell at the moment because I had like this cold and all this stuff going on. But I was like, all right, let me help these guys out a little bit. There is a lot to keep track of on this show. There's you got Q&A questions, you got regular YouTube feed questions, you got Facebook questions, then you got your own questions, and then you're trying to remember the giveaway, and there's just a lot.
yeah. There you go. Let's see here. Getting back, also, Schwell, you did some interordinate stuff. If you can, that you traveled, just hit on that in Palm Bay, Florida. You did some teaser videos. I know you got a lot more stuff coming out, but what was that about?
well, interordinates. A lot of people know about them. A lot of people don't. They are a U.S. manufacturer. They make AKs, ARs. They're coming in with pistols now, but they're making a 100% built in U.S. AK. And they moved from North Carolina down to Palm Bay, Florida. And when they made that move, they decided they wanted to make a lot of changes in their QC, the quality control, as well as the customer service. Hire a bunch of veterans and prior NASA employees to help improve the reputation behind that name. And you guys all just went over what your improvements are and how the things have been going for you in your competitive shooting. Well, I've taking a step in a different direction, decided I was going to start focusing more on my coverage of the industry, start focusing more on the writing and the reviewing of the products and stuff. A lot of you have watched my channel, Schwell 111 on YouTube, and more stuff will be coming. Interordinance, I'm supposed to be getting a few items from them to do some T&E work for them, and hopefully that will lead to a great relationship with them. But when I went down there to check out the things that they have going on, you guys would be quite impressed. I have some videos showing the manufacturing, the products up close and personal, the products that they're actually coming out with. One of the things that impressed me the most was their new Venom pistol, which is a 1911 style pistol. Very, very easy on the eyes. Looks really, really nice. And I think from what we saw at the range during that media visit, I think they have a promising future.
Yeah, and the price point is incredible on those 1911s. Usually, you think 1911, you think you're gonna spend, $7,000 to $1,000 easy, just on an out the box factory, middle of the road type of 1911. But these, what, $500 or
the MSRP on the models that we shot as on Instagram and Facebook, that one MSRP is $549. They're also going to be offering like a different Cerakote option that is going to be $50 more with your color of choice. So we're talking $600, $550, $600 MSRP, which means that the street price may be even lower based on how things have gone in the past.
Very good stuff. Yeah, we're looking forward to more videos on that. You can check Schwell's channel. That's Schwell11 on YouTube. There, just type that in there, and you'll get to it. Some good stuff there. But getting back to some triggers, we talked a lot about the custom Glock work. We talked about, what is it? We're doing, I wanted to bring this one up here. I had an issue in the past, and it's just kind of, I don't know, it just never happened again. But Glock's going into fully auto. You working on these trigger kits and knowing the insides of Glocks, Daniel, what causes that to happen? And how big of an issue really is that when your Glock is consistently or every other range session going in and out of full auto?
Glock's going full auto is somebody getting a little too heavy-handed on the polishing of the sear or lug face of the striker, or taking too much off the length of the striker lug itself. It can be fixed. But the biggest thing is you got to, the most cheap tool that you can find is the Glock Armor's backplate. And then you need a little propane torch, and you can heat up your trigger bar, and you can bend it back up and check your engagements. Glock recommends no less than 2/3 of engagement on their sear and striker face, or sear and striker lug face. So whenever I'm checking my stuff before I send it out, I try to keep it as close to 100% as I can, because if you're a true Glock shooter, you know that Glock is the AK-47 of the pistol. Loose tolerances, and that's how they keep running. You can change out parts from gun to gun, just like an AK-47, and it's going to work. So yeah, I mean, you know, I haven't run into, I don't think I've run into anybody so far that's had any issues of going full auto, just because I keep the sear tolerances as tight as, or as fully engaged as I can. But yeah, like I said, if it goes full, and I've made it happen on mine. Actually, my Glock 24, when I was first figuring out the trigger for that gun, yeah, 20 rounds of 40, major power factor up at the test range. I knew it was doing it, so I just left the trigger held in and just let it roll. It was pretty fun, but I'm glad it was a private range, because otherwise I'd have been in some trouble. But yeah, I just came home, made some tweaks on the angles of the sear, and actually, you can actually get a really nice, a little bit more crisp trigger out of one that you can actually take off a little bit on the striker lug and reshape and the angle of the sear. It will actually cause it to drop off the striker face a little bit quicker. But you can run into some reliability issues because of that, because it is actually, at that point, is not pushing the striker back as far as it generally and normally would be. I mean, it's just a few, just a few thousandths, but still a few thousandths on a Glock, and it's reliability issues on whatever kind of primers you're running. That can be an issue. You know, I've had certain people post on my Facebook page when I first was showing my Lighten strikers, and they were wanting to know hard data of what causes or of how this improves lock time, or that you had to be just some kind of special awesome guy to be able to feel that lock time. That's not what it's about. What it's about is it is allowing a lighter spring slingshot that striker forward at the normal velocity it would, as if it was running a 5 or 5.5 or 6 pound striker spring. Once you lighten up the striker spring, if you're running the full weight striker, it's not going to be able to sling it as fast forward like it normally would. So if you lighten up the striker, it allows it to work like it used to. That's the reason why strikers are lightened. They extend them to where they'll go further into the breech face, just because it allows it to hit the primer with more material. You know, just about anybody you see running a 1911, if it's a 40 or 9 millimeter, is running an extended firing pin generally. But you know, a single action gun that has a hammer driving a firing pin into the back of that primer, it's generally not going to have issues with primers and primer choices. For us with the Glocks and with the M&P too, you really got to watch how deep you get. You know, you got to get those primers in there, and a good quality primer for if you want consistent reliability. I mean, if you're going to run a crap primer, then if you go to a major match and you start having light primer strikes, you know, there's nobody you can blame other than yourself on that. You know, if you need to have match grade ammo, which is going to consist of a really quality primer. And I'm not even really sure that's what you were talking about. But yes, there have been issues in my testing of my product. As a matter of fact, I went through 2 or 3 different changes from the original kits to what I'm at right now to get it to where I want it. You know, just some things I've added to it to ensure that the safeties are still working. There's been some changes in the modifications I make to the bird's head that touches the safety plunger. And you know, the more you do it, the more you figure out that certain things that you were doing didn't have to be done, and then you figure out that there's certain things that you weren't doing that you needed to be doing. It's a never, you know, it's just like being a paramedic in the medical field. You're never going to know it all. Something's always going to change.
There you go.
You've got to be able to adapt and overcome and improvise and go on with it.
Well, you had a couple live ones coming in on the Facebook. You want to hit those?
I had a question from Evan Doss on Facebook. Daniel, he wants to know how many folks you have working for you.
How many folks working in the shop?
Yeah.
You're looking at him. It's just me, man. Tiffany gets my boxes ready for me. She gets my packaging ready for me able to put the trigger kits into. And then she and I share printing out things that we need to have printed out and keeping up with the receipts and the invoices and the shipping like that. But as far as the work itself, it's me. I do all of it. So, I mean, people, you know, that's, you know, like I said, I try to keep it at 3 days from the day you order it. But if, you know, if somebody happens to catch me on a 48-hour tour on an ambulance and they order on a Monday, just like, you know, this week, I went into work Monday morning at 8 a.m. I got home this afternoon at about 5. I've been at work the whole time. So I mean, if somebody ordered on a Monday, then I would have started working on it today. Actually, I've got 2 trigger bars I've got to do this evening, and I'm actually got to send out a magwell. I actually sold the magwell that's on my 24. I got to get it sent out to a guy. I'm constantly changing my gear just like everybody else. I mean, you know, I'm a shooter. I stay a shooter. You know, but also, you know, if I'm at a match and somebody's got questions about my stuff, I'll stop doing what I'm doing, and I'm like, hey, let's go over here to the safety area, and I'll show you whatever you want to see, man.
There you go. No secrets being held there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have secrets. I mean, there's only so many things you can do to work on a Glock trigger. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's just some people don't want to do it. Some people want to pay somebody else to do it. So that's what we're doing.
There it is. Hitting on that, some of your current sponsor shooters, a lot of these guys are personal friends of mine. We shot the Florida Florida Pro-Am. It was me, you, Jason Pratt, Gilbert Perez. Just talk about some of your sponsor shooters currently with you. You just added a new one.
Well, we've got sponsored shooters such as we got Gilbert Perez. You know, me and Gilbert kind of sponsor each other. I do his parachute shooting. He does my triggers. Gilbert's the one who got me to selling my triggers. You know, he shoots Glocks, and I showed him what I was doing, and he's like, man, you need to do something with this. Gilbert, we got Jason Pratt, we got Eric Wilson. We've got a couple of guys who are running the logo. Yeah. We've got Tyler Ingram. Tyler Ingram, he's not actually a true sponsored shooter by me, but he does get his work he gets his work from me because of what he does for me. But he actually just won a Tennessee Production Championship, and he won the Tennessee High Overall Production running his Glock 34 tuned with our trigger. He was actually running one of our basic kits. He already had a striker, so he wanted to use the striker that he had. So we put the trigger in that. He almost won the limited division and the open, and he runs a Chile built open gun. Not 2011, but he almost won his very first debut at the Pro-Am. He almost won that match, shooting his Glock 34 that I did for him. Then we've got Bill Monnier. He's not specifically a sponsored shooter. I mean, he's not going to be running around with my logo on it unless he wants to. But I just sent him a trigger kit. He's very excited to start using that. I mean, we've got some talent. I mean, Jason is a master. Pretty soon he'll be grandmaster. Eric Wilson does great. Gilbert Perez is a grandmaster. He's actually getting ready for World Shoot, so he's currently running a CZ, just for the simple fact that it's not feasible to be competitive in the World Shoot running a Glock, having to stay with that 5-pound trigger when you can go with the CZ and go with your 5-pound first pull and a lighter single action afterwards, which I don't blame you. I mean, like I said, eventually Glock custom or DK custom triggers is not just going to be specifically Glocks. I would like to be able to branch out and do things for everybody. I mean, I've got a high list of things I want to do, and it's just going to take a lot of work and climbing that ladder to get to it if I'm going to do it all. Then we've got people who have requested, hey, can I put your logo on my jersey? Yeah, if you want to run it, run it. I don't care. If you're happy with the product you've got and you want to put my logo on your jersey, I don't care. Some of these people are like, no, man, I don't want you to put I don't want you to put my logo on your jerseys. I don't care. I'm a shooter. I want to, if you want to go out there and support the people that you shoot their product, that's awesome.
There you go.
Anthony's running ours. Actually, I think Anthony's still running his TPI stuff mostly. But that's all. Hey, that's okay. I mean, people have what they want to run. Maybe we're going to have to get Kelly converted over to a DK custom trigger.
Yeah, I have a 17 with the Daniel stuff in there. I have my TTI 34. It was just all done up by them, so I didn't want to play with something that was kind of already the way I had it. So, but we did talk at the Pro-Am, and he did pull the trigger on the TTI. I was pulling the trigger on Gilbert Perez, and his, I believe it was a 24 that he had there, and I was like, wow, there is some room to play with there on my 34. So we're definitely in the works. I'm waiting for that FFL to come in.
Yeah.
It's still out there. There it is.
Well, mine is a clean slate. You can do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll even put the stock trigger back in it to just make it seem like it's brand new.
There you go. Let's jump into the lightning round here. We're 15 minutes past the hour mark here. Lightning round still hasn't went out. So Denny, this is quick. One of the other quick questions here.
I've already prepared for this.
There it is. Kind of the same thing as we always do. 9 or 45. If you can only carry one to shoot one, 9mm or the 45.
9mm or 45? It's going to be 9mm. The ballistic testing that even the FBI has recently done is there is no difference. You're going to get more BBs, and you're going to get the same type of penetration. You're going to get a decent wound cavity. And with me being in the medical field, we go through some of this stuff too. I mean, look, nobody wants to get shot with nothing. The new age ballistic and stuff that you're getting out of these 9mm or 45s, yeah, it's going to be 9mm for me.
There it is. There's knowledge behind that. So for you guys, 45 or die, 45 is a one-drop shop, whatever, whatever those little slogans are with the 45, there you have it. Burger or Five Guys restaurant, burger joint, you can only eat at one. Who are you going with?
Well, you cut out there. What was it?
In-N-Out Burger or Five Guys?
I've never heard of In-N-Out, so it's going to be Five Guys.
Yeah, man. I get so disappointed when people haven't even tried In-N-Out. We need to.
Well, he's in East Tennessee. They are so not even close to that.
Yeah.
You have to go to West Coast for that.
There you go. Glock M&P XDM or 1911. Carry one, shoot one. What are you going with?
You're going to ask me that question, dude? It's going to be a Glock. I got a Glock 380. I got a Glock 9mm. They go with me everywhere.
There you go. AR talk here. We got. Do you prefer to shoot a piston-driven AR or direct impingement AR?
I think it's apples and oranges. The piston-driven keeps it more clean and runs a little cooler with a suppressor. But I mean, I've always shot direct impingement, and they've done fine for me. They run a little hotter, but they run fine for me.
There you go. Denny's or IHOP?
Waffle House.
I made it Denny's one time, and it was awesome. So I'm gonna have to find me another Denny's.
Dude, you only ate at Denny's one time in your life?
Yeah, that was coming back from the Pro-Am, and actually my wife got me. We pulled in there. We were coming back from the Pro-Am, and I was getting ready to have my gastric sleeve done. So we pulled in at the Denny's for me to try that before I couldn't eat at a place like that anymore. So
there you go. So Denny's gets a win here. Usually IHOP is, always selected here.
IHOP's got good chicken and waffles, but I'd have to go to a Denny's. They've got an awesome steak tip. So I don't remember what it was, but it was awesome.
There you go. Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris get into a fight in their prime. Who's winning the street fight?
Dude, y'all know that. That's Bruce Lee.
Steve thinks Chuck would beat.
How? Man? Come on.
Come on now. Bruce Lee, I'm a big fan.
America.
His kinetic energy that he had, man, his speed and everything, was unbelievable for what Bruce Lee was. Even Chuck Norris would say that. Chuck Norris would bow down and say Bruce Lee would whip my ass.
Too small. He was too little.
No.
Yeah, he. You know how tall Bruce Lee was off the top of your head? How much did he weigh? Any
I know he weighed.
Funny.
He was like 145. His height I'm not sure on, but he was only 145 pounds.
5'6". Yeah, but he was little.
Chuck Norris is short.
Yeah, but he ain't that short.
Chuck Norris got some chest hair ripped out. One of their movies that they did.
Yeah. And this is kind of a question, but this is the last question of the lightning round, unless the panel has anything to add. But if you can, and that's go hunting or go fishing. What are you going with?
Hunting or fishing?
Yep.
It's gonna be hunting. I get to shoot something.
There you go. I'm a big fan of fishing. Always have been. It's hard to choose between those two, but fishing, man, was definitely the game to play before I was in shooting. So there you have. Anybody want to add any last-minute lightning round? Schwal, you got anything off the top of your head you want to throw in there?
No, sir. I'm good.
I know one thing that you were going to ask me was something about future matches. We've got a local Toys for Tots match we're doing that we're putting some prizes out on and sponsoring. We've got a local championship match up at TAC 2 that we're going to be doing up there and sponsoring some giveaway stuff there. Then we've got the Pro-Am down in Georgia. We may be sending in some gift certificates for that. And then for next year, we've already had one guy ask us for a 3-gun match to send in some stuff, and we may be sending in up to 10 certificates for that one.
There you go. So some of the recent matches, you can win some great prizes at there. Have some Q&A flying in here from Eric Wilson. He says, why do you think Superman wears his underwear on the outside of his pants? Because Chuck Norris made him do that. That's there. There, good. There's the answer there. He says Chuck Norris all the way. It's Chuck Norris, so we have some disagreement here.
That must be, that's Wilson's got issues, man. He's got some issues. If that's what he's typing in there, I'm going to call him after this show, and he's got it. He must be drinking or something.
Yeah, maybe, but he just blasted in 3 questions in the Q&A with just kind of statements, more than less, not really a question. But there you go. Bring some more of those Q&A questions here. We're about almost run it. We're going to run it down here. We'll probably go over some announcements and some giveaways. Stuff we want to hit on, Steve, Schwell, anything?
I'm good unless you're ready for the wind it down part, but you got some other stuff to cover first. So,
Schwell, you good on the questions?
Yes, sir. You're good.
All right, here. So what do we have? We just wanted to go quickly over your discount. Send your parts in, Daniel. We didn't hit this yet, but there is also an affordable way. I mean, DK Custom Triggers are already affordable as it is. But there's a way you can also save money, and that's by sending in your parts. How would one go about doing that, and what's the whole deal?
We've got it actually listed up there pretty easily. Once you get to that area, it actually gives you the address to send parts to. We had one guy send the parts into the regular address that we were using, and apparently they didn't get here. So I actually went up to the post office and got a post office box. So if anybody's sending any parts in for us to work on, we ask that they be sent to that post office box that we have listed on the website right there with, yeah, I mean, and please try to send the stuff in with a tracking number. I mean, this is your off stuff. I mean, if it doesn't get to me, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you're sitting there telling me you sent stuff in and you didn't, you know. I mean, you got to trust, you're trying to trust your customers, but, you know, it's for your benefit. I mean, you know, $50 of insurance that comes with flat rate. It's $5 to send it, and it's going to have a tracking number. You're going to know it gets here. I'm going to know it's getting here, and it's going to that $50 is going to cover your parts for the most. I actually the whole send them in the customers thing. I mean, if you really look at it, you're not saving that much by the time you pay to have it shipped here. Plus, you're paying more shipping for me to ship it back. Plus, you've got a lot more lead time. It's got to be sent to me. Got to get here. I will tell you that some of the strikers that I've received in for some of the custom work on people's parts, I don't know when those strikers were made by Glock and how much Jennifer that they put on those or how much heat treatment they put on those. But some of those Glock strikers that I've received from customers' parts have eat my stuff alive on tooling. I mean, I'm getting lots of flex and everything, and I don't know how that is. I mean, I'm using Glock factory strikers here, but I don't know if it's just a newer system they're doing as opposed to their old. I know a Rockwell hardness on a Glock striker is like almost a 70, I believe, is what I've been told and what I've found. It's pretty hard for a little piece of metal. So I don't know. I'm actually, you know, like I said, we're still in our infancy programs here. We're definitely keeping the junior stuff. We may up some, and we may go with the get you a jersey and you get some more money off of your kit that way. But we may be looking maybe into the future of eliminating doing the customer parts, or at least making it down to if you want to do it, we'll give you another price, and we're going to add in to where we'll actually have the strikers that we have here to do, and then you can send in your other stuff and have it worked over.
Yeah, folks, you can easily right here. This is what I'm using. Small flat box. You can fit every Glock. You can almost fit a whole Glock pistol in this thing. It's like $5. I obviously don't do that, but all your parts can go in here. $5 and change comes with tracking. Come on, guys.
At the time of this show, Priority Mail comes with free tracking and free $100 of insurance. So if you put it in a Priority Mail envelope or box, you should be covered. And
$50
it gets there in 2 to 3 days.
Of free insurance, $50.
Is it 50? I thought I heard 50, but
it's 50.
Schwell gets treated like royalty in a lot of places, and I'm assuming his post office.
Maybe they give him 100.
Maybe they're just giving him 100. It's like, hey, you're that dude on the YouTube channel. $100.
He works the swell sweet talk.
Hey, they love me. What can I say? They love me.
Yeah, don't go to your post office talking about no $100 insurance. It just won't happen.
I'll give you another little tidbit on the on flat rate. If you go to the post office, they'll give you the boxes, and if you set up an account online with them and you print out your stuff at home and put it on the box, you actually save 15. I think you save 15 or 10 cents on shipping. Actually, it's a cheaper price if you print it out yourself as far as going in and paying for it in the post office.
You heard a post office sponsorship coming to the Shooter's Mindset show real soon. We're quoting, insurance. Sure. There you go. I think we're about to the run it down point this minute here. I think we're pretty good. I think we can do that. What do you got? Any live last minute stuff, guys? Send it in right now. I'm going to do the giveaway one last time announcement. This will be the final one. You guys will still have midnight tonight Eastern to get in, even if you didn't get in during the live show. You can still get in till midnight tonight. Giveaway here is your very own DK custom trigger set for the Glock pistol. We have some Rand CLP, 2-ounce bottle. Where did my Rand go? There it is, right there. Rand CLP, 2-ounce bottle. Patriot Shooting Academy. That's I know how those expensive classes can be when you're trading with expert guys like that. You can easily be going $400 for $400+ for 2 days. I don't know how much they charge exactly, but if you factor all this stuff in, you're getting over a $500 value and a giveaway here. That's how we do here on the Shooter's Mindset show. One winner, you can giveaway link will be posted in the comment section below. Also, you can find a link to the giveaway on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page, so make sure you get that in. Winners will be selected tomorrow afternoon at avid. Shout outs. Steve, you wanna hit some shout outs here?
Sure. I got obviously my channel Making Masterclass here on YouTube, so check that out. Weapon Shield, one of my sponsors, as well as Florida Muay Thai, Terran Tactical Innovations, and that's pretty much it.
There you go.
There was one guy that used to do that was on this show that had like 20-something shout-outs. I know Schwell counted them one day. He was like doing every time he would talk.
That's
Dustin.
Kelly's getting mighty close to Dustin, though, I can tell you what. If she really sits down and starts announcing, she can get really close to about 20. What is it, 23?
Dustin is at 22 and counting.
There you go. All right, Schwell, what do you have?
I want to shout out to my co-host on the Shooter's Mindset. They're great folks. Sometimes. Well, not Anthony. He always gives me a hard time. I want to give a shout out Evan Doss. Evan is a shooter at UF, and we used to play airsoft together, and that's how Evan and I built our relationship. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. He asked a couple of questions tonight on Facebook. We're going to try and get you on the show, Evan. I had to pay Anthony off to get you on the show. Something about he had something against UF or something. I'm not really sure.
No, you can come right on, man. I have no problem with invaders.
Wolf Performance Ammunition, thegearlocker.net, as well as everybody who watches me on my YouTube channel, Schwell11. Thanks for all of the support over the years.
There you have it, Daniel. What do you have as far as shout-outs? And that, tell this is like a new breed of dog. I don't know. I don't keep up with the new dog breeds here.
Under my 35, bro. She's loving it.
I was, right away I said that's a miniature schnauzer, and his wife kind of jumped in there. It's like, no, it's a sporky or something like that.
And she's a super dog. She flies if you can get her to do it. I can't get her to do it now. She's not going to do it for me.
There it is. What breed?
Got it. She's doing the super dog.
It's a Yorkie. It's a teacup Yorkie and a miniature Schnauzer mix, and that's what you get.
Color markings of a Yorkie, and she is the exact same size and looks just like a Schnauzer.
Yeah. As far as shout-outs, what do you have?
I've got some shout-outs. Our first shout-out would be, of course, the Patriot Shooting Academy and Gilbert Perez. Great training. He's been training me and my wife. He's a great personal friend of mine as well, almost like a father. Then we got Black Bullet Internationals with Chandler Lafrane. Guys, y'all can't beat those kind of prices for the kind of bullets you're getting for that. We've got Storm Lake barrels with Chad Henry. I'm actually getting ready to change out all of my KKM barrels to Storm Lake. The Storm Lake barrels are very competitively priced, and they are super accurate. Then we've got M&M Firearms, which is one of our local firearm shops here that sponsors us. They, one of the best prices. You walk in there, they're well under MSRP. They're barely making pricing they have. We got Shooters Connection, Chuck Bradley, of course. Shooters Connection is always sponsoring all the matches that you go to. You see in some range bags or something. Their shipping times are incredible. And then you got Terran Tactical, some of the best base pads you'll find for a Glock. I think they're and their AR PMAG base pads, and I think they're working on some other ones, maybe for some XD or I know they got M&P base pads too. And then I got a shout out to my lovely wife. She supports me like crazy. Yeah, I don't know how she deals with me someday.
She hand feeds you fudge.
Yeah, she does hand feed me fudge.
And she shoots.
And she does shoot. She shoots a lot of ammunition, so it costs us a lot more money. She misses a lot, is what I'm trying to get at there. Very nice.
I'm not as good as he is.
And I'm not the greatest in the world, I promise you. Yeah, that's all I've got, and of course, Anthony, with the shooter's mindset, man, you're doing great. I mean, you're introducing a lot of different companies and getting a lot of people out here for people to get to see and ask questions to that they might not normally ever get to talk to.
There you go. Yeah, very much appreciate that. That's awesome to hear from, every time I hear it, I don't hear it very often, but it's always good. It always gets me up a little bit, So some people hate me. Some people think I do a horrible job. Some people do it, you can't please everybody.
You're doing a horrible job. You wouldn't have some of these names that you're getting on here. Like, you've got you've had Taryn on here. You've got Ben Stogerman on here. I mean, you've had national champion Bob Bogle, the machine, who could shoot a whole IDPA Nationals match with 10 points down.
He has Schwelt on his show.
Yeah.
There you go.
Doing a swell job, Swell is.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a shooting course where I'm getting down to my shout-outs here, but I'm doing a shooting course with Vogeltron, and I believe Jessica Hook's going to be also there too. So we got two amazing shooters. You can learn probably, the tons of stuff I'm going to learn from Vogel. We shot some stages side by side at the Nationals. It was pretty, the match director went to Nationals, did an RO. He was ROing Vogel on that stage, and he wasn't going to tell the entire squad until we were done shooting that stage what Vogel did it in. So I went ahead, tried to do it real lightning fast, like I think I'd at least compete or be in the realm. I did it in 11:42, 11:43, the stage, and I had 4 points down. Vogel did it in 8 and change and had 1 point down. So the machine-like activity you can see from Vogel on an IDPA stage.
I think maybe they should have. He should just look like Arnold and come back in like a big fiery ball, and he probably sees red when he's looking at everybody and can fill out what size clothes they wear by looking at them. And
yeah.
I don't know.
For sure, the dude's no doubt a machine here. I wanted to do some announcements here. Dustin Pluth, on his Facebook page, he's doing a awesome contest. Right now, it's a photo contest, and the giveaway package is over like $600 from tons of companies. Black Rain Ordnance, AP Customs, they all pitched in. Great giveaway there. So go check out Dustin Pluth's Facebook page. Don't send him a friend request. If you're sending him a friend request, you're on the wrong page. Go ahead and like his page, and he has that giveaway pinned to the top. So you have if you're not lucky enough to win the giveaway tonight, you can definitely go over there and win even a sweeter giveaway. So very nice, Dustin Pluth's Facebook page. Go check it out. Also, there is a 30-day 3-gun dry fire challenge. This is going out. If you guys are on Facebook, there is a group that you can join. It's called 3-Gun Trainings and Drills. If you go just type that into the group session, I believe it's to the right there, find it. You can jump in there and you can play along. I believe there's some giveaway prizes being added to this. So you not only do you get to improve your weaknesses as a shooter, but you can also submit your videos. We have there's tons of pro guys, Keith Garcia, Jesse Tischhauser, always commenting, giving tips, and always just conversating back and forth there. So it's a great Facebook group to join and to participate in. I want to say subscribe to the channel every Wednesday at 9. New Shooters Mindset Show. Very good stuff going on here. Also, email contact, theshootersmindset@gmail.com if you want to get a hold of us. You can get a hold of us tons of ways, but if you want to get a hold of Schwell, somehow you can't find his page, send me an email and I'll get you linked up with Schwell right away. That goes the same for everybody. Ridgeback Tactical, they support me big time. Terran Tactical Innovations, Schwell got a chance to play with the TR-24 rifle from Terran Tactical Innovations for about a month or so. Stay tuned for a video on that.
They've got a mag on that for a Glock too.
What's that?
They've got a mag wheel that they're working on for a Glock right now too.
Yeah, that's definitely in the works. I think that's just waiting on finishing, and then that's going to go out. Nate Square Tactical Holsters, as natesquaretactical.com. Blade Tech Industries, FortMillMunitions.com. Daniel at DK Custom Triggers for supporting me and for supporting the game and making some awesome triggers. We got randsbrands.com. Check them out. They're having 15% promotion going on, and they just brand new released a bore and bolt cleaner product aside from the Rand CLP, so you could still get this stuff over there. 15% off everything at Rand CLP. Check them out. And then Kelly, almost forgot about you. Shout outs on your side. What do you got?
Oh,
Aw.
crap. Oh, man. I didn't even think about it either. I'm just so used to the whole flow. There's not 30, so don't, throw fit. Booty Tactical, Frog Lube, Landtech USA, Patriot Cases, Brack, even though he's giving me crap tonight on Facebook. Tatcom, Animal Customs for our awesome jerseys. I think each one of us is going to have one of those here pretty soon when they get done. Schwell's giving the thumbs down or sideways. I'm not sure. I don't really know what's going on.
I'm counting your sponsors. You're at 6 right now. Keep them coming.
Oh. Benchmade Knives, Extra by RCI, Notch Gear, and Fail Zero. 10.
I've been at Civil tonight.
Yeah. Oh, and Blade Tech, Unicorn Dust Meat Rub stuff. It's really good. I put it on pork chops the other night, and you guys should be jealous. You need to call the shop and get some from Tim. It's really good.
There you go. That's awesome.
There you go.
I've got one thing I got to say there. I forgot one of my guys I need to bring up. It's Eric Leopold. He's one of the, actually, so far, he's one of the only persons that I've got shooting my trigger in 3-gun so far. And he's apparently up and coming pretty well. He's doing pretty good at most of the matches that he goes to. And he's doing a lot. That page that you just brought up about 3-gun training, Anthony, he's been posting a lot in there. They've got some kind of competition between him and somebody, or some kind of something that they've set up where they're doing so much dry fire a day for the next 30 days, and they're going to talk about it on Facebook. But yeah, I forgot, and I feel bad. I'm sorry, Eric. Sorry. You can slap me next time you see me. To bring that up that you're running my triggers too.
Yeah, my dry, not to go any longer, we're an hour and 40 minutes here, but my dry fire video, little spoiler, is a Glock 42 on a 2-second timer. Pick it up, one shot, open up a Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich, and take a bite in under 2 seconds. That is going to be my entry, at least for day one, on dry fire training and drills. So, getting a little creative here. There is some prizes involved, and I want to win. So, I think being funny. And we all know the Noveski shooting team thinks the holy chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A definitely helps them win matches. So I've been on it. I've been on that dry fire routine lately. And that'll do it for episode 61 we're at. Man, a lot of episodes. The Shooter's Mindset
crazy.
Featuring DK Custom Triggers. And
Right.
that website, one more time, is glockcustomtriggers.com. Is that correct?
Right, and you can also get to it by dkcustomtriggers.com, but our main website is glockcustomtriggers.com.
So there you have. That'll do it for episode 61 of Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next Wednesday.
Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a good one.